everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Crime and Coffee Couple. My name's Allison.
Hey, Allison. My name's Mike.
Hello, Mike.
I like to throw a little curveball in there sometimes, so it's like not exactly the same every single time.
Yeah.
I have a feeling I'm going to run out of ideas, though, pretty soon.
There's only so many ways you can spin that intro.
Yeah, and I like say, hey, baby girl, because you're my baby girl.
Aw, that's very sweet.
And my wife.
That's true. I'm your bride.
You're my love interest and my wife.
Your blushing bride.
Yeah. Well, not blushing a lot. Usually more, maybe blushing from anger, I would say.
Yeah.
And annoyance and just general things that happen after 20 years of marriage.
I would say more annoyance for sure than anger.
Okay. I'll take that. No problem. That's a win as far as I'm concerned. Thanks for coming over and taking a listen or watching or whatever you're doing. We really appreciate it. And if you're listening on Apple, if you could leave us a review, or Spotify or Audible, any of those things, we've been seeing a huge increase from Spotify. So hello, Spotify listeners.
Hello.
Welcome. Please gather around. Grab
it's
your
good
cup
to have you.
Yeah, grab a cup of coffee, tea, a martini, whatever you're into these days.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'd like to read like a review every episode just to kind of say hey, thanks, and say what other people are saying about us. And this particular review comes from someone named Steph. She says, becoming a new favorite. I love you two together. Allison does a wonderful job researching and delivering these stories. I like that you guys pick stories that not everyone has already heard or covered. I get excited for a new podcast every week as I've already binged most of the episodes.
Well, thank you so much, Steph.
And apparently Mike doesn't do a good job researching, but
well,
that's okay. No, I'm just
probably cover 90% of the cases.
You do. When you start covering 7 out of 8, then that turns out to be you're the one that everybody thinks of. That's okay.
And it is true, though, we do try to avoid covering cases that I've heard on other podcasts. Mm-hmm. I know if you've listened to this podcast consistently, you know that Mike's not much of a true crime buff. He's not the one listening to other people's podcasts.
Yeah. Like anytime we get a suggestion, we just had one recently from Nick, and she's like, have you heard of this one? I was like, I haven't heard of anybody besides like John Wayne Gacy, Jeffrey Dahmer. I think that's about it. Golden State Killer or something around there. And then even the ones that we were telling, like I have such a bad memory. I don't even remember the ones that I tell for the most part. So, what's nice is like when I watch a movie, it's new to me almost every single time.
Yeah. It's like a patient with Alzheimer's disease.
Pretty much. And it's kind of funny now, but like by the time I'm 70 or 80, it's going to be really sad. So hopefully we're still doing this podcast though.
Oh yeah. That'll be interesting. I read a meme yesterday that I told you about. It said, how to know if you're old. Fall down, and if people laugh, you're young. If people get all, concerned and run over, you're old.
It's so true, because if I fell, I think you would definitely be concerned.
Well, you're not old.
I'm just big. Like I can really hurt myself because I'm a large fella.
I would definitely be concerned if you fell down, even if it was 20 years ago.
But if I start sliding off of a roof, you would laugh at me.
I would.
Because that happened about 15 years ago. I was trying to put up some lights on our roof for Christmas, and I was like kind of scared because I was never been on a roof before. It was like in our first house. And I was putting some lights up, and then I started sliding, and I'm like just trying to grab something, and there's nothing to grab, and my shoes aren't like grabbing anything, and then I'm looking at you, I'm like, Allison, move something, and you're just like
well, I was on the ladder, I was up towards the top, and you're sliding towards me. Like, what the hell do you want me to do?
Well, definitely laugh. Number one, laugh, and then just try to get out of the way.
It was nervous laughter.
Yeah. Like, I mean, maybe put a broom up there. I don't know. Yeah.
Put a broom?
Yeah, I guess.
What in the hell are you even talking about? I was on a ladder at the top of the roof.
Yeah. And I
when
was
you were sliding
down
towards me.
Right.
Where did you want me to get the broom from, Mike?
The garage. It was right there.
It all happened in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, and instead of fight or flight, you chose laugh.
Yes.
Just laughter.
Sometimes I do freeze in stressful situations.
Yeah, I'm actually fantastic in stressful situations if I can toot my own horn.
You toot your horn a lot on this podcast.
Yeah, I guess what you could say I'm kind of a full of myself, I guess. People have said that in the past. So, like, I'm always like, I'm a pretty decent guy. And people are like, whoa, wow, hey, I guess you're pretty cool. I'm like, no, I don't think I'm the best or anything. I just think I'm genuinely okay,
There's nothing wrong with that. Why is that a bad thing?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
You told me today I need to speak more positively about myself because I was just joking. Oh, I know. We were making pancakes and I put the liquid into the thing too early. And I was like, oh, what an idiot. And you're like, speak nicely about yourself.
Because you asked me to do the same about myself.
And it is true. We need to speak about ourselves as we would to a friend.
Yeah.
You know how we have that little voice in our heads that's always giving the dialogue?
No, actually, I don't have one. I don't know if we ever talked about that before.
I don't know.
50% of people, or 60 or something, have a dialogue going on in their head. I don't have one.
Oh, mine never shuts the F up.
Yeah, like, so your dialogue's basically like it's you or something in your head talking to you?
Yeah, it's me. It's like, the things I have to do, or like, oh gosh, you should have done that another way. And basically from the moment my brain wakes up in the morning until the moment I go to sleep at night, it's like there and then it's not, and it's there and it's not.
Mine is like this. Like I look at a table, coffee, drink. And then it comes over.
Here's what goes on in Mike's brain.
Yes, very funny. The circus noise. Very good. That's how I am. I'm like, pen, pick up, write, type.
So I need to, we all need to, whoever has that internal dialogue, be more kind and say to yourself, would I ever speak to my friend this way?
Right.
And if the answer is no, then you need to start to think of how to be kinder to yourself.
It's same for families. I mean, we always hurt the ones we love, unfortunately.
It's true. And we need to give ourselves a little bit more grace.
Not that we're like professionals at this or anything.
Especially at the holidays. I think, people, it's a fun time of year, but it's also very stressful.
Yeah.
So, we're trying to make everything perfect, even though that doesn't exist. Oftentimes, I think, too, it's moms put a lot more pressure on themselves.
Yeah, I think the whole world puts pressure on moms, unfortunately.
Females in general, you don't have to be a mom, but
right.
Men are more gracious towards themselves, I think.
Yeah, because we kind of made the world and the rules, so it's kind of...
Oh, did you?
Well, I mean, look at the founding fathers. I mean, yeah, it was kind of... The United States was started by men, not because it should have been, just it's a fact. We kind of started this stuff because that's just what happened. Not saying anything about that. Don't start coming at me being like, men, whatever. Like,
No, you have a lot of respect for women.
I'm a feminist, I would say. So it's it's just we made the rules, and
bottom line, be kind to yourself.
Yes, exactly.
That's the point of this.
Dig this a little bit
I don't
further.
know where the hell Mike spun off here. He took a left sharp turn down a one-way street.
Anything else you'd like to talk about?
I don't think so.
We're going to see some Christmas lights tonight. Should be fun.
Yeah, it's that time of the year.
We're just going to drive somewhere, look at lights, and pay $20 and then come back.
It's $20 per car, and you get to drive around, and there's like a little train you can take, and it's Safety Town, where I don't know if everyone's familiar with that. It's like this little town where like kids can learn the rules of the road or something. Is that what Safety Town is?
I don't know. I've never been there, and it seems kind of too early because like they don't need to learn how to drive till they're 16.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, they decorate Safety Town.
Yeah.
What the hell do I know? I'm just going to go and look at some Christmas lights.
Yeah, we're just going to do something festive.
That's what I know.
So it should be fun.
So other than that, I'm about ready.
Oh, we watched Die Hard last night because there's always that debate, is Die Hard a Christmas movie or not? And we're just like, yeah, let's put it on. We haven't watched it in probably 15, 20 years. I 30?
Do not remember. I don't think during our marriage we have watched it.
Yeah,
we've been married for 20 years, so I would say I probably haven't watched it in 30 years.
Now, it was rated R. There's a couple of breasts that are shown. There's some F-bombs. There's obviously
plenty of F-bombs.
Lots of bullets flying out of chests and such. Legs, kneecaps, those sort of things.
Yeah, but our kids watched with us, so...
Yeah, but it was very suspenseful.
It was a great movie.
And the whole thing ends with a Christmas song. So.
I like how I'm like, it was a great movie. It's like I'm talking about a movie from 1998. I'm sorry, 1988.
We won't spoil it. Don't worry. And what was nice, like we said, I had no idea what was going to happen in the end. I mean, I kind of had an idea, but I didn't know exactly.
It's a great movie. It's constant suspense, never a dull moment, and it takes place in one evening at a Christmas party.
Yeah. So it's definitely
Christmas.
Christmas adjacent. Yep.
So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get going here. This is an interesting story, one that I've never heard. It is the Delimar Vera story.
Ooh, I've never heard this one either.
You haven't? Well, you may have read about it a week ago and you wouldn't know, would you?
That's true. Okay.
So on December 15th, 1997, a fire started in a 2-story row house in North Pennsylvania. So the story takes place over the course of some years, and it takes place in Pennsylvania. So Luz Cuevas, who was the resident of the home...
Is a person's name?
Yes.
Okay.
L-U-Z. Luz. She was the resident of the home. She was also a frantic mother. She rushed into the bedroom of her 10-day-old infant's room in search of her baby. She was unable to locate her and was soon forced out of the house because of the smoke and the fire.
Ah, that'd be so scary.
And it would take a lot to push a mom out of a 10-day-old baby's room or any child's room.
Yeah, I mean, they'd have to be close
Desperate.
to, just death.
She knew that she had to leave the house or she herself would also perish in the fire.
And you would be no help to your baby.
So she was overcome by smoke, she had burns to her face, and she was forced to flee the home, saving her 2 other children. So when firefighters managed to extinguish the fire, there was no sign of baby Delimar Vera. They concluded that the baby's body must have been so incinerated by the flames that had been caused by an overheated extension cord from a space heater. The fire had mainly been contained to the baby's room.
Oh, no. That's so sad. Like, you're trying to keep the baby warm, and it's the very thing that ruined everything in the house.
Right.
Sad.
So Luz refused to believe that this was what she was being told. She refused to believe it, that her baby was burned. Instead, she insisted that her daughter must have been kidnapped. So Delimar Vera, backing up, was born 10 days earlier on December 5th, 1997, to parents Luz Cuevas and Pedro Vera. Despite Pedro being present at Delimar's birth and also being the person to cut the umbilical cord, he didn't end up signing the baby's birth certificates. This is just a little side piece to just keep in the back of your mind. So, in the late afternoon of December 14th, 1997, which was the day before the fire, Carolyn Carrera came to 4410 Hurley Street in hopes that Pedro Vera, who was her cousin, would fix her car that was having brake problems. It was the first time she had visited the home. She had actually never met Luz Cuevas. So, while at the home, she told Luz that she too had recently had a baby. The next day, which was the day of the fire, December 15th, Carolyn returned to the home saying that she had left her purse upstairs. Shortly after she left, the fire started in the upstairs front bedroom. It was about 7 p.m. Neighbors began to hear screams and saw Luz standing in the middle of the street screaming in Spanish, "My baby, my baby." Smoke and flames raged from the second-story windows of the home as neighbor Gloria Mojica and her son Jose Rosario rushed inside, also trying to help save the situation.
Yeah, everybody wants to try to save a baby in a burning house.
And it's like, you have to act quickly because you all know that fire spreads fast and it's a matter of life and death.
Yeah, it's a ticking time bomb.
So smoke and flames, are raging upstairs, but despite this, the neighbors did try to go upstairs to help save the baby. Jose said that he did hear crying and he tried his hardest to save the baby, but just like Luz couldn't, he was also unable to because he was choked by the smoke.
Well, it's only going to get worse after Luz came out.
So Pedro Vera, I'm going to back up for a second. Luz tried to save her baby, as I said in the beginning. She entered the room not once but twice. She suffered burns to her face. She was unable to locate Delimar, who wasn't in her crib where she had last seen her. So Pedro Vera, from conflicting reports, said he was either alerted to the fire by his cousin Carolyn or Luz, his partner, after the fire had started and he had come to the scene. So it was kind of unclear of which way he heard. Within 14 minutes, the fire was extinguished. Absolutely no remains were found belonging to Delimar, and again, the baby was said to have been consumed by the flames. Basically, her little body had been incinerated.
Is that possible?
You're going to hear more.
Yeah, I mean, firefighters, you would think, there has to be a lot of heat for a lot of time, especially, I hate to get too morbid, but bones and such, that takes a lot of heat.
Well, we all know that a lot of people choose to be cremated.
Yeah.
And that takes hours and hours and hours in order to do.
Right.
So that's where my mind went.
Right. And at the same time, it's a baby, 10-day-old baby.
Tiny.
So, yeah, you never know.
Takes maybe less. Right. I know, like you said, that is very morbid, but it's pertinent to the case.
It's what we're thinking. Yeah.
Exactly. So due to the lack of remains, a funeral was never held for Delimar, and the medical examiner was not able to issue a death certificate, which I kind of found interesting.
Have there been death certificates given for people that haven't been found?
She existed. She was told by firefighters that she had perished in the fire.
But it's not like they can say, here's the reason, see them
like
clearly.
The proof?
Yeah, and identify and all that stuff. I don't know.
So the medical examiner basically told the family that they had to go to court to obtain a death certificate.
Oh, and he wasn't going to sign it.
Right.
Yeah.
So Pedro Vera and Luz Cuevas, they remained a couple until December of 2002, more than 5 years later. Prior to this, they moved into a new home. From what I read, they moved several times. And I will say in my research that the couple wasn't exactly financially stable from what I read. So they had a second child together named Samuel in 1999. Pedro worked as a car mechanic as well as a stocker at the Dollar Tree, while Luz stayed home with the 3 kids because she did have 2 kids from another relationship, 2 sons. She continued to pray that she would find her baby, continuing to believe that Delimar hadn't died in the fire. In the years after the fire, Pedro told his neighbor Gloria, and as well as I read on also conflicting things of who he said this to, but regardless, he did say on several occasions that he believed that his daughter had been stolen from him and had not died in the fire. So it wasn't just Luz.
Okay. And then was Luz looking for the daughter at all? Like was, talking to people and saying, be on the lookout for my daughter, or trying to talk to people? Like, was it well known that she didn't believe that Delimar passed away?
It is not entirely clear of how many people she said this to and how well known it was. Okay. So on the night of the fire, cousin Carolyn Carrera, who, again, had been at the house, she visited her then boyfriend, Andre Moore, and she went to the mother's house, Andre Moore's mother, and told her that she had been pregnant with Andre's child. She told Andre's mom that she had delivered her baby at home and named her Aaliyah after the late singer.
Oh my God. I see where this is going. This is absolutely bananas nuts if it's going where we all think it's going.
Yes, there's a couple of twists in the story.
Okay.
So on January 24th, 2004, we're fast forwarding some years, Pedro Vera's sister, Evelyn Vera, hosted a birthday party for her 3-year-old granddaughter. At this party, she invited Luz, who was now Pedro's ex-girlfriend since they had broken up in 2002.
But they were together for a while, so she still knew her.
And they had a child together, Samuel.
So that's probably her
nephew.
Okay.
Yes. So she also invited Carolyn Carrera, who she considered someone who was like a sister. This is
because she was always around.
Evelyn
Luz.
Not Luz. Luz did not consider Carolyn a sister.
Oh.
Evelyn did.
Got it. Okay.
Yes. During the party, Evelyn walked Carolyn's daughter over to Luz and introduced her as Aaliyah Hernandez. She said, "Isn't Carolyn's daughter beautiful?" As Luz looked at Delimar, her breath was absolutely taken away.
Delimar.
Well, we'll see who she thought was Delimar.
Okay,
she looked at Aaliyah. My apologies.
That's okay.
I misspoke on that one.
Yeah, you kind of blew the lead here.
Well, it's what we're all thinking anyway.
Okay.
So, she's looking at Aaliyah. My apologies. And she noticed a dimple on the child's cheek and something clicked. This dimple matched her own. She also noticed that she looked just like her 2 boys.
Not to be too much like what is podcast morbid, but I felt some chills on this one.
That's actually not morbid.
Oh, which one is it?
I think that's Crime Junkie.
Full body chills.
So she was convinced that this 6-year-old little girl that she was looking at must be her missing child, Delimar.
Oh my God, that would feel so fucking awesome, but still like crazy and like every emotion you could possibly think of.
And would you also question yourself, like, this is just me holding out hope?
100%. I'd be like, I'm tricking myself.
Yes.
Yeah. But at the same time, like a dimple, like you're as a mother, you got to know that's the dimple of your daughter. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. I'd be so excited and angry and I don't know, every single emotion. Like
mind boggled.
Yes.
But, if what we're hearing and reading and what I'm saying is true, she believed in her heart that her daughter had not died in that fire.
Right.
So it is a possible. So she called the little girl over to her. She told her that she had gum in her hair and that she could fix it. She quickly removed 5 strands of the child's hair and wrapped them in a napkin and placed them in a plastic bag.
Oh, that's great.
She said she learned this trick from watching police shows, knowing that she would need a DNA sample to prove who this child belonged to.
Well, is somebody going to do this test? Is that possible? Can you just take people's hair and then DNA
I guess
test?
you can. So what happened was Luz took her story to State Representative Angel Cruz.
Wow. So Luz is like, hell yeah, this is my daughter. Like, no
She
doubt about it.
believes it.
This bitch is crazy and stole my daughter in this house fire.
So she got backing and help from the state representative who put her in touch with the police, who performed a DNA test and found that indeed this little girl was in fact her daughter Delimar.
Yes, that's awesome. And I hope this goes in a good way, hopefully. Now, unfortunately, I don't know.
Well, police suspected that 41-year-old Carolyn Carrera, who was living in Willingboro, New Jersey, which is a suburb of Philadelphia. I guess it's just a few miles across state lines and only 15 miles away from where Luz was living, had started the fire and kidnapped Delimar, pretending that she was her own child.
Oh my God, what a psychotic piece of shit. So wait. I know you said cousin. Carolyn's whose cousin? Pedro's?
Pedro's.
Okay. God, what a psychotic person. Jesus Christ. Who steals people's kids?
Not
within
not
the
a
same
mentally
family?
sound person.
Your cousin's daughter.
Yes.
Right? I mean, the Pedro, did Pedro put her up to it or anything? Do you have anything behind that?
Well, we'll keep going.
Oh, God, this is interesting.
So before the results of the DNA tests were available, though, you're in a period of limbo here.
Of course.
Delimar had to be placed in New Jersey state custody.
Okay, so this is a big thing.
It's a big thing.
Okay.
Yeah. When the results were available, Carolyn Carrera was brought in to provide a second DNA sample. A couple of the resources I read said that Carolyn had actually fled and, knowing what was happening, and then finally turned herself in. Regardless, she came in. She had to have a DNA sample to also prove that she didn't match the baby, or the child, I should say.
Sure.
So she did provide the sample. At that time, I'm saying the baby, she's at 6 years old at this time. The little girl was taken from her and she was taken into custody. When I say she was taken into custody, I mean Carolyn, and placed on a $1 million bail, leaving her 3 children behind because she also had 3 other children.
Yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, it is sad. It's a complete upheaval of everybody's lives.
But you can't just be taking people's kids.
You cannot. So she was charged with arson, assault, and kidnapping.
Wow. Arson, I mean, that's at least of her charges right there. I mean, attempted murder almost. You could possibly get
sure,
around.
because anyone could have died in that fire.
Yeah.
Carrera had sent, when she was raising Aaliyah to be her child, she had sent her to private school. She was grooming her to be an actress and to be involved in beauty pageants.
So her family seemed a little better off than Luz and Pedro.
It sounds like it, yes.
Okay.
But it doesn't seem like very much so.
Okay.
So, she must have been really stockpiling any funds to put her through private school, from my understanding.
And anybody willing to steal a kid is probably willing to do anything else to make their kid, do something that makes them proud or
right.
whatever. Yeah.
And, meanwhile, as Carolyn is being arrested, poor little Delimar, or Aaliyah, you can call her either name.
Absolutely.
She is screaming and crying, this being the only mother that she knows.
It's like you're supposed to be going to it's a good story. Like you got found by your real mom, but in her mind, I'm being taken from my mom.
Exactly, which is so heartbreaking. So Carolyn told her, goodbye. This is the last time you're going to see mommy.
Yep.
And Delimar was temporarily placed with a foster family. But, in the meantime, there were so many questions. How did family and friends believe Carolyn's story for so long? If she did kidnap Delimar and set the house on fire, who was there to help her? Since police believe that she absolutely had an accomplice. Why had she called her former boyfriend 3 days before the fire to tell him that she had a baby? A Tampa Bay Times article from 2004 indicates that Carolyn had actually given birth to a baby at home on December 12th, 1997, which was 7 days after Delimar was born.
Wow.
That she had actually given birth.
Oh my God.
And that she was pregnant. And I'm looking at pictures of this woman. This isn't somebody that could possibly not be pregnant and say she just had a baby. Like, she wasn't a large woman.
Yeah, you could tell.
Yes. It'd be like me, showing up with an infant and being like, yep, I had a baby. And my coworkers are like, no, you weren't pregnant.
Right.
You can't hide that.
Yeah.
So a family member who later moved away and was unable to be reached by the Tampa Bay Times was apparently present and had gone to the home to help Carolyn deliver the baby. Angelica, Carolyn's 17-year-old daughter, saw her mom 2 days later. Apparently, when Carolyn went into labor, her daughter Angelica was not there, but did come back 2 days later on December 14th and met the baby. Family members indicate that the baby never changed in appearance even after the fire and the alleged kidnapping. So what happened? There's so many questions. On January 6, 1998, Carolyn went and obtained a birth certificate for Aaliyah, claiming, I'd given birth at home and I need a birth certificate for my child.
Okay.
It's possible that her actual baby may have died,
right,
which caused Carolyn to suffer a mental breakdown.
Sure. Completely understandable. It's happened to a lot of people, unfortunately.
In 2001, Carolyn had a baby with her husband, Brian Bissardo, and the baby did die several hours later from a heart defect. The same thing could have happened to this baby. Mm-hmm. During her relationship with Andre Moore, she also suffered 2 more miscarriages. So it's very possible that she did have a baby.
Right. And at this point, you're so hell-bent. Like, you're having a baby. You're looking forward to it. Can't wait to meet this little thing and hug and kiss it and stuff. And then, I'm sure any woman listening to this you've had a friend that has, unfortunately been through this can identify. Be like, yeah, it's an ultimate loss, something that's been a
trauma.
part of you. I don't want to talk too much.
No, I can't. It's the trauma behind it. I can't even fathom. So this same article that I'm referring to indicates that this is another bizarre twist, that Luz actually met Aaliyah at a party the previous year in January of 2003, rather than January of 2004, as pretty much every article that I'm reading is saying.
Okay. So she met her before. It didn't click then?
No, that's not true. So apparently the party was in 2003. Just as I said before, it was hosted by Evelyn Vera. That never changed. Luz was invited because Samuel is Evelyn's nephew, and that's when she saw Aaliyah and took the hair samples. So what went on? I don't know. So the following January in 2004, when every article pretty much that I've read says it happened, Pedro Vera says, I went to the party. It was not Luz who went to the party that year.
Okay.
Point blank, matter of fact. So
okay.
What he's saying is that the next day he called Luz, because of course they're broken up, but they share a child together. He called Luz and told her that he had a feeling that Aaliyah was theirs, and that's when Luz confessed that she had taken strands of hair from this little girl the year before.
Okay.
But why would she have waited?
Right.
I don't know. I don't have the answers for that.
There's something fishy there.
Why do 99% of the articles that are covering this case say it was January of 2004?
Would have been interesting to try to get Luz to tell us, right?
I mean,
if we can find her.
Well, I don't know Luz.
No, I don't know her either, but I can probably find her.
So when Luz was given the results of the DNA test, regardless of what the conflict is, was this 2003, was this 2004?
I mean, and sorry to cut you off, I'm going to believe whatever Luz has to say. I don't know if I'm going to believe what Pedro has to say, just in case, because this is his cousin, and I don't know. And he didn't sign the birth certificate. That's a little weird. So, I don't know if you're going to tell me some other stuff. But Luz, I'm going to listen to what Luz has to say.
So all of the DNA testing happened in 2004. That's what I know for a fact. That is a fact.
Okay.
So when the results came back and it was confirmed that Luz was the mother, she was absolutely overwhelmed with joy. She was shaking and crying and continued to say, "Thank you, thank you." Police couldn't understand how the baby had been declared dead in the first place, though apparently officers at the time said that they had found bone fragments, but later tests showed that they were non-human. Why would there be bone fragments in a bedroom? I don't know. There's so many questions.
These cops don't sound like they did a very thorough job.
When investigators had returned to the scene of the fire, firemen had allegedly disposed of several hundred pounds of debris from the gutted bedroom into the backyard. They came across dry wool particles, which apparently do resemble human ashes.
Okay.
So, and just took this to be, the baby's human remains. Huh. This, though, would only result, like you had said, if the fire had burned at 1,000 degrees or more for an hour or more.
There you go.
This fire lasted less than 15 minutes and was not even close to being 1,000 degrees.
Right. So you would think that firefighters know this stuff, but maybe not police. Maybe just kind of lazy police work. And they're like, the kid probably died in the fire. Mm-hmm. Idiots.
State Representative Angel Cruz feels that the language barrier between Luz and authorities may have led to the confusion about whether a body had been found in the fire.
Perhaps you bring in a translator.
Crazy idea, right? Think so.
Maybe somebody that can't speak English, you get their language they do speak, so you can properly figure things out. It's not like they're speaking Icelandic or something that's not easily accessible.
Exactly.
Morons.
As Delimar was preparing to return to her real mother, Philadelphia Fire Department officials defended their actions regarding the night of the fire. Fire Commissioner Harold B. Harrison said, "I think we did what we were supposed to do." Obviously there's damage control being done because this baby was declared dead.
Yeah, and they're going to get sued, and probably did get sued, and rightfully so.
Yeah, I don't know what the results of the suit were, but according to the department's official report, one firefighter spent 15 minutes completing a primary search for 10-day-old Delimar, and a second spent an additional 20 minutes combing through her bedroom in search of any remains. The entire time firefighters told Luz that her daughter had perished in the fire, she continued to yell in Spanish that her baby was alive and had been taken from her. Only 2 remarks were documented by the company commander in the official report. One read, DOA, which is dead on arrival, one female approximately 1 week old. And then a second report said, injured, one female approximately 30 years old with burns to face, transported to the hospital by M24. They're referring to
the
Luz.
police officer. Yeah,
Luz was the 30-year-old. I think she was 31 at the time, who had suffered the burns to her face. And that's basically it.
Sure.
The fire marshals concluded that the cause of the fire was electrical wires or improper use of homemade extension cord is what was documented.
What was the cause of the fire?
Well, it's got to be arson, right?
Well, yeah, but was it a match? Was it whatever?
The question remains.
Because they cleaned it out, right?
Yes.
So
we
these
don't know.
dickheads, maybe Carolyn had some kind of special thing concocted, like a wire where she plugged it in and started it on the carpet. I don't know, whatever. That seems to be kind of, a far-fetched idea. I would imagine it's a lighter or something.
You would think. But, there probably was a very finicky-looking concoction with this electrical wire.
Yeah.
And they looked at it and they're like, well, it's winter. You were trying to keep the baby's room warm with the space heater, which we all know space heaters can be very dangerous.
If they get, tipped over and then burn into the carpet.
And they didn't determine that it was from the space heater. They determined it was from the improper usage of wires. Mm-hmm. So the question again remains, how did the fire department mislabel what was actually arson as an electrical fire?
Right.
We'll never know.
That's a pretty shitty investigation. That's completely botched. 100% botched investigation. Good job.
So, the sad part was, number one, there was a language barrier. And number two, you were dealing with a very vulnerable family that was not financially well off. So they kind of had their resources very much limited.
Yeah, and you can think maybe, some kind of an element of racism, some kind of an element of classism.
And I would never say that because that's totally making assumptions.
No, but you got to start thinking of stuff like this.
But
and then,
had this been from an English-speaking, well-off family that would have said, absolutely not, this is not true, my daughter did not die in this fire, there's no way it happened, they would have hired lawyers to help defend their case.
Sure.
That wasn't the case in this situation, which is very, very unfortunate.
And, you got to think that, of course, a mother that's so worried about her child, doesn't find the child, she's going to say, oh, no, she's still alive, in some kind of a craze,
Mm-hmm.
So even if they did know what she was saying, maybe she's just, losing it because her baby's in a fire.
Right. And
yeah, you're right. All those things are accurate.
I do have it somewhere in the rest of my thing here that they basically chalked it up to it's her nerves that are making her think this. Because wishful thinking, your child dies, you want nothing more in the world than to believe that they're still alive.
And maybe 90% of cases like this, the mother's saying the same thing.
Perhaps, exactly. So when Delimar officially met her real mother, Luz, lawyers said that she hid under the table and then popped out saying, surprise. Huh. When Luz asked her if she knew who she was, she replied, you are my mother.
Wow.
Delimar gave her a hug and a kiss and sat on her lap. It was the moment that Luz had been waiting for over 6 years.
Oh my God. I'm about to cry. That's awesome.
It's unbelievable.
That is so I don't know who taught her that but it's got to be so hard as a kid. You could pop out she must have just accepted it and been like, whoever worked with her, a social worker, must have done an incredible job.
I know.
Can you imagine, like, I don't know if Luz was expecting differently, but she was probably expecting to come in and be a little combative, being like, I'm sorry, I am your mom, and we'll do whatever it takes. But she comes in and, like, gets a hug and a kiss from her.
And she actually sat on her lap.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The court granted custody to both Luz Cuevas and Pedro Vera after he was confirmed to be the father via DNA testing. She is sent to live with Luz, and apparently Pedro could see her whenever he'd like. He just had to place a phone call first to, like, make arrangements. So he did have absolute rights to see his daughter, but she was ultimately living with her mother.
Okay.
So American Social Services advised that the reunion be a gradual process. However, the state governor decided that Delimar should be returned to her true family sooner rather than later, and they were reunited in March of 2004. Experts felt that this could be a mistake. When Delimar came home, she wore a blue hooded shirt and pink pants. She came through the back door, and now she's meeting her 3 brothers, ages 4, 10, and 11. The 4-year-old was Samuel, who's, like, fully her 100% brother, and then her half-brothers, who were aged 10 and 11. When reporters asked her that night how she felt, she said she was happy, and she said, "I'm at my real home," which is really kind of incredible.
Yeah, I feel like, was she coached or something? Like, that's really grown up. And she's 6?
Yeah, she was 6.
Jeez, man, I don't know if I'm capable of something like that. It's like,
no.
Great for her. Hopefully she's really feeling that way.
So clinical psychologist Gillian London, who specializes in working with children, says that a 6-year-old girl would likely not be able to understand what truly happened to her. She only knew herself as Aaliyah Hernandez. She was raised speaking English, whereas Luz had a slight grasp of the English language. She primarily spoke Spanish. She had no access to the person that she believed was her mother, because her mother was sent right away to prison and all of that. So literally the cord was just cut with her relationship with her.
Well, because her mom's a criminal and stole her.
But that's somebody who she believed her entire life was her mother.
But like you said, and we've talked about before, kids are pretty adaptable. So
and resilient.
Like she's 6, so it's just a new fact. It's like, oh, no longer my mom, now my mom. And it's just more of a fact instead of, I'm sure she's going to have to deal with stuff emotionally.
I'm sure. And not only was she taken from her mom, she was also taken from her siblings. Granted, again, they weren't her real siblings, but it's who she thought were.
But, even if you're adopted, like, your adopted mother is still your mother.
Of course.
And your adopted siblings are your siblings. So it doesn't matter. I'm not going to say it, but
it's brutal though to think and her grandparents as well, who absolutely adored her. This had to be so hard for everybody involved. So Professor David Messer of London's South Banks University Department of Child Psychology feels that children can be exceptionally resilient and that the child can gradually come to understand that the person they believe to be their parent did something wrong. Luz feels that they will overcome the obstacles ahead, and of course I'm speaking in the past because this happened in 2004. Believing in her heart that they will all be accepted by her daughter. At the time of the reunion, she continued to call her daughter Aaliyah, saying, "Little by little, I will begin to call her Delimar." Because, it's like the rug was just ripped underneath this poor little girl's feet.
Well, yeah, you can make it like a nickname or something, and like a pet name. Aaliyah Delimar, come on. Middle name almost. Like, kind of work it in.
Exactly. So Luz said that she never believed that her daughter died in a fire on December 15th and always felt suspicious. She said it never made sense that Delimar wasn't in her crib when she ran into the room when she was trying to save her on the 2 occasions. That's where she had put her. The fire wasn't yet ravaged at that point, but the baby was not there.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm not crazy, and this baby's 10 days old. Not 10. Yeah, it can't just get up and get out of the crib.
It cannot.
And you ask your kids, did you take the baby? No. Yeah.
And on top of it, it didn't make sense that the baby's window in the bedroom was found open because it was freezing cold outside.
Right. I didn't leave that window open.
Yes.
So, man, if she could have just communicated.
Exactly. That huge barrier of communication just wasn't there. So the fact that no remains were found only deepened her suspicions. When she told the firemen that she believed her baby had been stolen, again, like I mentioned before, they assured her that it just must have been her nerves.
Yeah, or just lazy or fire department police work.
I would hope not. I mean,
that's what
like
factual.
We have to be humanity. This is a person's baby.
At the same time, emergency workers, their jobs are emergencies all the time. So this is part of their everyday work. Like my everyday work is sitting in front of a computer and emailing people. Theirs is seeing horrific things, especially in Philadelphia, a big city. I mean, this is just another day at work for them. It's really hard, but at the same time, they got to compartmentalize it and not make it part of their own life. So it's like just another situation where the mom went crazy and I'm sure the baby got taken. That sounds crazy, So I get where they're coming from, but if you don't have the evidence, you can't just make it up.
Yeah.
Oh, I found some wool fibers that, this is the human remains that should have been burned for 1,000 degrees for an hour in a 15-minute fire. I don't think so. It's lazy.
So when Luz looked into investigating the matter, she was told she would need to hire a lawyer, which she was just not able to afford. So it just basically ended there. So in January of 2015, Carolyn Correa was convicted of kidnapping and sentenced to 9 to 30 years in prison. While in court, she accused birth father Pedro Vera of helping her commit the crime, saying that he gave her the baby and in turn, she loved her as her own, claiming, "I truly believed that she was mine." Pedro Vera denied any of these accusations. The defense argued that Carolyn suffered from a psychotic condition, believing that Delimar was actually her baby. Judge Pamela Demby concluded that Carolyn suffered from depression, though was more manipulative than delusional.
Yeah, I don't believe the whole, you thought that was your own baby. That's insane. There's no way. There's zero chance of that. Nice try. That's a defense lawyer trying to make something up, basically. Maybe there's some kind of a case where something like that has happened in a very different situation, but she's not stupid, she's not insane. That she knows that she wanted a baby bad enough, she took somebody else's baby.
And Carolyn briefly apologized for the confusion that she caused the family.
The absolute upside down turn of Luz's entire life.
Yep. Soon after Carolyn was sent to prison, she couldn't sleep and she began to smash her head against the cell walls.
You know what fixes that? Not stealing children.
Well, that had already been done.
Yeah.
She couldn't change that at that moment.
Well, good.
Her thoughts were turning suicidal, and she was moved to the infirmary and placed on suicide watch. She had auditory and visual hallucinations of a screaming baby. Elliot Atkins, who is a forensic psychologist who conducted countless hours of interviews with Carolyn, as well as her husband, daughter, and mother, is convinced that he believes that Carolyn thought that Aaliyah was her biological child.
Well, he thought so, huh? Well, I guess he probably has more schooling than me in the human mind.
I'd say so.
But I'm getting there.
I mean, it's all opinion at this point.
Yeah.
After DNA tests proved that Aaliyah wasn't hers, she was hysterical, wondering where her own baby was. Her best friend said that she even paid $638 out of her own pocket for a separate set of DNA tests. And her friend was basically saying, why would she possibly do that if she knew this baby wasn't hers?
Who knows?
I don't know. Despite investigators believing that Carolyn had an accomplice, as Delimar disappeared from the upstairs crib while Carolyn remained downstairs. I guess she never did go upstairs. Pedro Vera was not home at the time. There was not enough evidence to make a case against anybody else. They do believe there was help from somebody else. They just don't know enough information about who, and, they can't pursue anything.
Yeah, I don't want to get too crazy and conspiracy theory, but there's some weird things going on in it, and I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else that we've talked about was involved.
And strangely, this was not Carolyn's first conviction for arson. In 1996, she set fire to a medical office where she worked as a file clerk. She set fire to the building after she was fired and convicted in June of 1998.
Jeez.
A year after the fire that, consumed the house that Pedro and Luz lived in.
Kind of her thing. Setting things on fire, houses with people in them, or buildings.
And then in 2008, the Lifetime Movie Network aired Little Girl Lost, the Delimar Vera story. So that's a movie you can see. I guess Luz and Pedro were given like 6 figures for the movie deal.
Oh, that's good. Questions
still remain, though. If Carolyn did have a baby that passed away, what happened to that baby? Nobody knows. Where's the baby's body?
Right.
I don't know.
And she didn't know. So weird.
Because in her mind, she believed that Aaliyah was her baby, from what we're hearing.
The reason you think she's pregnant is because of pictures?
They said she was absolutely pregnant.
Like authorities all say
Andre Moore said she looked pregnant.
And he probably saw her naked and stuff.
I don't know. I didn't call Carolyn and ask, had Andre seen you pregnant?
Right.
Or naked
I would call
pregnant?
Andre, not Carolyn.
I didn't. The number was disconnected that I tried for Andre.
Okay.
But regardless, there was apparently a person that did come to the house to help her with her home delivery. And her 17-year-old daughter said she met this baby.
Huh.
So, from all accounts, there was a baby.
Interesting. Maybe she sold the baby? I don't know.
I'm thinking the baby died. Maybe she buried the baby's body and then...
Like to kind of try to get rid of the evidence because she was just so much in a tizzy.
In an absolute idea that, like, I am not going to be without a baby. I have to find a baby. Oh, Pedro has a baby.
Yeah.
And concocted this story.
Interesting.
Or this whole plan to do this.
We'll never know.
And didn't want anyone to know that her baby had died.
Right.
That, that's the only... it's all speculation.
Yeah.
So I just thought that this was a very interesting story and one that I never heard. And, if you're curious to know what Delimar looks like now, she's a beautiful young lady. She's got an Instagram account you can check out. And it's incredible.
Still has her dimple?
Yeah, she's a very, very cute girl.
Oh, well, that's good. Well, I'm glad that she found a real mom. I'm sorry about Delimar's life getting turned upside down. Does she go by Delimar right now?
Yeah, she does.
Okay.
And, that her mother was right. And she found her baby again. I mean, it's
incredible.
Just unbelievable.
This is one of the most interesting stories I've heard on our podcast.
Well, you don't like the gory ones.
Correct.
You like the more interesting stories.
Yes.
And who doesn't like an interesting story?
I don't know. I don't want to know.
I know. I like an interesting story.
Well, good job. Thank you for bringing that. Thank you. I'm glad that Delimar, Luz got her baby back.
Me too.
Thank you for bringing that one up. Well, thank you for listening. We appreciate it. If you want bonus episodes, we record one every other week. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm. That's twice a month.
Yeah. Well, no. Sometimes it's 3.
Sometimes even 3.
Yeah. So it's really interesting because if you're a tier 1 patron, you get 1 a month. If you're a tier 2, you get every single one. So some of the months you get like 3 bonus episodes, which is pretty dang sweet, if you ask me.
It is.
So if you want to get some bonus episodes, become a patron. Look in the show notes. Go ahead and pay us, $5, $10, 25, whatever, 7,000. I don't know, whatever.
If you like what you're hearing here and you do want to support us, because it does take resources to do that work that we're doing. We just want you to know that we appreciate each and every one of you and don't take it for granted for a single second.
Right. So thank you to our patrons: Colleen, Lily, Karen, Nadine, Allie, Michael, Kayla, Dominic, Brian, Shannon, Elizabeth, Mandy, Alana, Vivian, Trisha, Lauren, Megan, Jamie, Chastity, Elizabeth, Genevieve, Clara Ann, Emily, Kathy. Oh, let's see. Emily, Kathy. Yep. Ava, Jovi, Eileen, Misty, Rochelle, Destiny, Ellie, Sherry, and Melanie.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah, this list is getting longer every single time. Got to start cutting, I got to figure something out at some point. I don't want to cut. It's not like that. It's just in the interest of time. We don't want people to just be like, fast forward through the end because it's all bullshit.
We don't ever want you all to either feel like we don't appreciate you any longer.
Absolutely.
If we're not saying your name on the podcast, it's only because of time reasons, not because we don't appreciate you.
Yeah.
And I hope you know that.
Right. I do. So,
I do.
Thank you so much for listening. Please share with your friends this holiday season. Be like, hey, you guys like true crime? What about the true crime or crime and coffee couple? What's our name? Crime and coffee couple.
That asshole doesn't even know the name, but at least I do.
Hey, I'm just lucky I show up. So, hey, thank you for listening. We appreciate you. Until next time.
Bye.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.